for the ever loving and not at all replaceable Reverend Don Lewis, who is off on handling personal affairs. Um, and so we'll let him off and do that. You can imagine what you will with that. And what you imagine will be a reflection on your inner self. I hope everybody can hear me. And I see that Reverend Don has set up this with this video will be about the different groups, be able to talk to me. Fine. But today we're going to talk about numbers. That's right, numbers. And yeah. So the other day I put in my Facebook page. As you know, my Facebook has some of the smartest people. And I put in this. Yeah, here we go. See it? Oh, select tab. Okay, there we go. I'm going to share this. Oh, all right. You didn't see that. And it was this chart. And this chart was people in the United States. Actually, it wasn't even this. This was put out by Wiccan Academy, and they basically put this out with a pitch for their school. And there's the actual original status. And I can show you that as well. And go there. Yeah, I don't actually follow them on this account. And they just put out this thing. How did you come to learn Wicca? Or maybe you haven't decided to start yet. Share your experience and worries in the comments. We would like to ask your experience, which is to support those who are just beginning in the journey of self-discovery. The rise of Wicca, amazing. And they put out this chart. Okay, it's only had 344 views at this moment because this is a live view. And let me see something real quick. In Wiccan Academy, only has 540, but they have 49,023 followers, almost 5,000 followers. And there you go. And let me stop sharing that and come back. And that is started a debate about numbers and how many numbers exist. And that one said there was 2.1 million Wiccans. The Pew polls are put out to between 1 and 5, 1.5 million. But let me tell you, all the numbers are absurd. That's correct. Because we don't have any assurity of them. The Pew numbers, which are a religious thing, has a number of people who are willing to talk about it, willing to discuss it. Are you willing to discuss it? And in that process, you trust them. Where do you get your numbers? And numbers are really super important. You mean they're not important to you as an individual, or they might be, but they're super important to the bureaucracies. I mean, I fell into this. So I was at the very first Parliament of the modern era, the second convening of the world's Parliament, as in the nomenclature of the day. And with it, I met one of the chief executives, one of the more important executive directors, and they were kind of upset that pagans were, being upsetting, that Phyllis Carrot wanted a ritual outside, and we had to actually battle for that. Right? And so there it was. And they said, it's a privilege for you guys to be here. Go, we have a right to be here because basically at that time, this was 1993, that the UN really doesn't recognize very many things. You're just an asterisk. So you needed to be 100,000 people to be represented. I said, well, according to the ECP report, 135,000. He goes, no. That's how many people you claim to be practicing. Can you show it to me? Can you show me that time your membership list or your mailing list? And I go, no. He says, that's what I mean. You're not cohesive. You're not really able to be here. That woke me up. That woke me up a lot. And at first I tried to bring, Pagan Interfaith Embassy, magazines. I tried a lot of different ways to start to bring people together. And then eventually I would come to witch school because the Correllian tradition had been, 3 years of daily spell. We had a good structure, and witch school allowed me to reach those numbers, to finally put them under one house for me. Though I've always tried to unify it and other things and get people to be reporting, hi, Zane, good. And we always try to get them identified. So Witch School was our reaction to it. And today it's 300,000 more or less. People have come through the school or have registered for the school. We've done over 5,000 clergy through Witch School, well over 120 groups, breakaway groups, all sorts of things. Literally, we've graduated, has over 14, almost 15,000 lifetime members. It's a powerful piece. And that persistence, that energy has given us numbers that led us to having our own people be able to be on the Parliament of World's Religions through that front line. You've seen that so beautifully. And if you haven't, go into our videos and into our videos, so where we're at, where we did the Parliament, and show you that procession, that pictures of the procession, um, and those energies. Therefore, because those are important pieces of documentation. And what you'll see, the Witch School graduates, along with Reverend John Lewis, Lady Rain of South Africa, and Lord Phoenix of America and the world, were on that main stage because we're able to leverage and show our numbers. So all numbers are absurd. So yeah, hello, Calvin. Please ask me any questions about this. Do you believe 2.1 million Wiccans? I want to. It's one of those numbers I want to believe. Absolutely. I want to believe. Yeah, there you go. But I don't know if I do. Certainly that would have made us into, it means that the Corellians are an absurdly large percentage of that. So maybe it's larger, smaller. I would like to see into publisher books. So one of the things that happened with this, remember, what started it was this absurdity of a chart. Let me show you that absurdity of a chart again. There we go. Share. And as you can see, this chart. No references, no anything. This is what it is. Wiccan Academy did. I'm telling people, this is a marketing ploy more than anything else. Because everybody goes, oh, they started at 0 in 90 and 135 should have been what it was in 93. So 93, we should have been 135. We had good numbers for that. We're just going over 1 million now. I hate to say it more officially, but this is a wonderful marketing play. Metcalfe's Law did much of the same thing. And that was Metcalfe's Law was the power of networking. It was originally a way to sell Ethernets. And they need to sell Ethernets. That's right. It was a sales pitch. Metcalfe's Law was the more units that are in a network, the more important the network becomes. And they demonstrated with telephones and everything else. And it was right. It was good law. But it started out as a sales pitch. There you go. And it persisted. So sometimes numbers and statistics are used to support things. So right now, the Pew report has been all over the place. People quote it, 1.1 million. I've seen that number. The high number I've heard is 8.5. I get into arguments with over it. And the other one part is that Wicca is often talked about as that. But the pagans automatically assume that those numbers are inflated with their own numbers. Yeah. In their own numbers. And so there you go. And so then there's this battle for the numbers. No numbers are good. So today I'm going to offer you a challenge. It's going to be kind of a short show because I'm just replacing him for Don. And I can't replace him. And he is able to do this so much better than me. But I'm going to go ahead and start this. Let's challenge these numbers. How do we get our numbers? I would love to call on some people, like one of the most intelligent people in our community, right? And one of the biggest thought leaders right now in our community, especially in AI and other sort of systems, is Lawrence Lerner. And I wonder if Lawrence Lerner could set up, along with others, I mean, he could lead the effort. I would nominate him, not me. Oh, no. But kind of form something called, let's call it the Pagan Union or Pagan Collective or Pagan Registry. Card-carrying pagan members, right? I don't care how it's formed. But could we just have like a central place where people can say, yes, I'm a pagan? And a way to kind of create a collective numbering system. Could we do that? Can we do something? And if not, Lawrence, there's a lot of probability period. I just think he's one of the smarter people out there, and he's been talking so much about AI. Um, yeah, fanboying him. Sorry. Um, but I think he could do a good job. I think he can do something, and I think he's the right individual to do something like that. And it would be a vault. I mean, I don't know. Just something to give us some surface numbers, some looks at the community. What for? People are going to be screaming right away. Go curiosity. Um, but at the end of the day, it was numbers that got us across the line and the ability to be involved. The Parliament of World Religions from the Correllian tradition and the Witch School tradition. And Witch School is still ongoing and is an ongoing process that continues to help build it. What did it build? Those numbers, those ability to contact through the internet allowed us to go to the Philippines where we brought Rolando in. So we actually manifested his peace mission in America. There's a lot of things we can do with numbers. What's your numbers? What traditions like to register? Would they say, "Oh yeah, I'll register my"? I'm going to use X and Y. I have X Y covens, X coven and Y coven. Would they register? I don't know. That's an idea. But if we're going to start putting in arguing these numbers, let's stop our community from getting taken and from this meme world. Everybody's complaining about the meme world and how it's shallow, but the most shallow place we are, the most absurd we are, right, is in our numbers. We just don't want to agree. We don't want to believe them. We don't trust them. Let's say, please, anyone out there, tell us, do you trust them? I Aaron, but do you trust those numbers out there? Do you really have any numbers you trust? So we need to find out places where numbers we can trust and we can support. And when we do that, can we figure out a way to make them so that everybody can share them? Let's stop being so absurdist with our numbers. And yeah. Um, but today we're going to end early, unless somebody wants to say something. That's it for me today. All numbers out there are absurdist. That this Wiccan Academy is using a marketing ploy, 2.1 million. See how fast it gets in. So let me give you one last piece of thought. The world's fastest growing religion is, if you said paganism or Wicca, I added to this. There's an article out there. Which is pagans and pagans and Christians agree. I'm going to take a quick second here. We're going to look it up. And it is. And Wiccans agree. Agree. Right. People don't remember this article. And I wrote an article a while ago. And, you see it all over the place. I want to find the original article. I don't have it set. And there it is. Christian Post. Oh, come on. Get out of my way. Okay. This isn't the original article, but it's close. Here, let me go ahead and share my screen. I hope you're all paying attention. All right. And there we go. Later. An online watch school recently launched a public relations campaign declaring a shortage of teachers. It claims the result of Wicca becoming the fastest growing religion in America. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. And there it is. Witch School International said in a press release that America is on the brink of awakening and discovering its inner magic, and this is changing belief systems around the world. This was in 2011, folks. How this occurs depends on what people believe, and more than ever, looking at paganism and Wicca. The school's co-founder, Ed Hubbard, is quoted as saying, "There's such a rapid spiritual reorientation in America occurring that their needs for thousands of Wiccan teachers over the course of the next decade will be required to meet the demand for basic teachings." While Witch School claims that religious experts say Wicca will become the third largest religion in America early in the 21st century, behind only Christianity and Islam, it is generally agreed that it is rapidly growing. And they go on about, Yeah. And yes, and there we go. They keep going. At Venerable agreed to recognize, yeah, they talk about more of its interfaith. Also, the founders of witchschool.com say that it's the first truly online school dedicated to pagan, Wiccan, pagan, and magical thought. And we did. And they could go on. And they talk about how this is a Christian article. And there it is. And I want to say this last one. Dazelle quoted a former Wiccan saying, I wanted to have the power over things that scared me. I thought that Wicca would give me that. After practicing for 20 years, I never encountered any power like that I've since encountered a Christian. So that's what they're going to try to convince people. We're weak to it. And this is the exclamation. But there it is, folks. 2011 from a press release. Hey, Zell, there it is, that press release. Isn't that amazing? So this thought of numbers, of fastest growing in all, is always a mismatch. Yeah, I love that. I love that article. That was from Christian Post. There's actually an original one behind it that I wrote. The most successful press release I have ever written. All right, folks. I don't know what else to say about this. If you have any questions, now's the time. And if you don't, 60 seconds, 59, 58. It's like a bomb going off. More is going to be coming around. I mean, I think this is something. John will be back tomorrow with his lovely, lovely self. I think he does an amazing job. Oh, Zella, you're a very rare individual then. You would have been amongst 135,000 counted in 1993 Pew Report. And there are a handful of hereditaries. And we're now having the new hereditaries. And the idea is of the new hereditaries are people whose parents and grandparents were in the original movement, and now their children, and they're having children's children who are being raised in the faith. And we're going to get more and more comfortable with that. But okay, so let me close with this. I don't know how, and you heard me talk about it, but I think any of you who are statisticians, mathematics, statistician, or really want to collect data, contact me. Ed the Pagan, or DM me, and we can discuss how we can find a way to build a real model. If you don't, I told you, but let's figure out how to build a better model. And people will scream about that. Don't get me wrong, you guys. A lot of people will scream about that, but maybe we can build a model that allows us to see where we're at in the world, just because we're curious. Hmm? And so there you go. So take care. Blessed be. Let's have a prayer for the day, because Don does it. Yeah. May your light guide you throughout the day and throughout the day until you return here tomorrow. Blessed be.